Hi there. I am Dr. Carol Scott, a trauma-informed developmental psychologist who brings you the SAS, Self-Aware Success Strategies for how to get along on all the adult playgrounds where you play today. This video is about joy. If you would like to have more joy, more fun, and more play in your life, then this video is for you. The key strategy from your earliest years that leads to fun in your adult years, I call the strategy of faith. We have to have faith in the impossible. We have to have faith in magic, in big dreams. We have to have faith in the fantastical in order to be able to play in life. Imagination is all about dreaming the impossible and connecting to the impossible. When you think about the ways that adults play, we mostly play in activities that are pretty structured. So we play in sports that have rules and certain kinds of movements that you have to learn to get good at them. We don't tend to play in ways that bring us a lot of freedom, although there are ways for us to do that, and we also do those. So think about when you get dressed up for Halloween, for example, if that's something that you do. Or think about when you go to the beach and you play in the surf. Think about the ways in which your freedom to do what you want is what play is really all about. And so to bring more playfulness, more joy into your life, then what you want is more freedom of activity, more freedom of movement, more freedom of expression. And so I want to take one step back from the success strategy that I call faith, which is, by the way, the sort of key natural strategy of a 3-year-old, to the one I call independence, which is the natural strategy of a toddler. Toddlers, what they do is express themselves. They are just at the point in life where they know what they think, what they feel, and what they want. It's finally become clear to them that they are a being driven from within. And so they are constantly expressing how they feel, what they want, and usually that's just expressed by they try to get it, and what they think. They're always talking. Toddlers babble and talk constantly. And most of the time we don't understand what they're saying to us, but they are telling us what they're thinking. So if you think about that self-expression, do you have freedom of self-expression in your life? Or do you spend a lot of time sort of curating, holding back, deleting, redefining, being careful to share only what is acceptable to the person that you are with? Are you really expressing who you are, what you think, what you feel, what you want? Or are you expressing the thoughts, feelings, and longings that you think are acceptable to the other person? Which one of those things is happening for you? If you don't have the freedom to express who you really are, how you really think and feel, what you really want, then very likely that lack of freedom carries over into imagination, play, belief in things impossible, things unseen. So to address both of those things together is to bring you more freedom and more play and more joy in your life. But it starts with being comfortable with who you are. So let's take a look at what a toddler does with that. So a toddler has a feeling and they just express it. They don't even think about whether other people are okay with it. They just go wild with their feelings. And that's, one of the reasons that we tend to call toddlers terrible or have other unattractive labels for them, because they really don't have any restraints. They don't have any brakes yet on expressing who they are. We, on the other hand, as adults, have almost only brakes. We have a world full of brakes, a world full of ways to stop ourselves from expressing what we really think, what we really feel, and what we really want, because we are worried that we will be judged negatively, criticized, rejected for who we are. So how do you get past that kind of restrictiveness, that kind of lack of freedom, to more joy and more playfulness in the success strategy of faith? It begins with, I believe, getting very clear about the fact that you are who you are anyway. So if you are curating, hiding, redefining who you are for the outside world to what you think is acceptable, somewhere all the rest of that has to be expressed. Who you really are, what you really want, how you really feel, the truth will come out. Somewhere in your life, it will come out. Or you will have to sit on it pretty hard. You will have to drink a lot. You'll have to use a lot of street drugs. You'll have to spend a lot of time trying to control everything around you, because it is not possible to simply eliminate how you really feel, what you really think, and what you really want. It's all still there. And so if I'm not expressing what I think, then I'm turning that into feelings of resentment, maybe, or I'm turning it into deep, dark secrets, the sort of things that I'll never be able to tell anyone. What I want, what I think, and what I feel can either be expressed overtly or they will come out covertly. So let's start with just accepting the reality that you're supposed to be who you are. That's a hard lesson to learn as an adult, when the lesson you learned at 2 to 3 is it's not at all okay to be who you are. So if the adults in your life felt overwhelmed by your big, wild emotional expressions as a toddler, if all the things you wanted were no-nos, and everywhere you turned and everywhere you looked and everywhere you reached, you were told no, and your hand was slapped either literally or figuratively, then it's really difficult now to feel free to try those things. And so it begins with just recognizing, I'm not free. I'm not expressing the real me. And what am I doing? So this is why they're called self-aware success strategies. Self-awareness. What is it I'm doing instead? If I'm not expressing to you what I really think, where is my outlet for what I really think? Where am I doing that? Am I looking for opportunities to get little digs in where I tell you what I really think? And am I teasing you and making a joke out of what I really think? Always it will come out. So we need to look at ourselves and ask the questions. Where are my real feelings, my real thoughts, and the things I really want? Where are they surfacing in my life if I'm not directly expressing them to the people that I care the most about? And again, this is about your close relationships. It's not about the barista at Starbucks who makes your coffee. It's about your best friend. It's about the people you work with. It's about the person you're married to or you spend your romantic partnership time with. What are the ways in which you're hiding who you really are, and where is that real you coming out? Develop some self-awareness about that. And then start testing the waters, if you will, I think is the next tool that I would offer you to develop the strategy of independence, is to try it. For once, trust somebody enough to tell them what you really think. And do it, of course, with kindness and love if it's a harsh judgment, if it sounds like it might be hurtful. But maybe you can just start by sharing something that isn't, start light. Don't go to the deepest, darkest secret that you need to tell. Tell something else. Express an emotion that you're not concerned about too much. So if what you would like to do is be able to tell your best friend, I feel really afraid of you sometimes. When you get angry, I get fearful. Your anger is something that is hard for me to cope with. If that's what you really want to tell them, you might not start there. You might start with, I want to tell you that sometimes I have a hard time expressing my real feelings. Does that ever happen for you? And that's a really gentle way to introduce a topic like that, because you know what? Most of us are mostly like other people, much more so than we're different from other people. And so the likelihood that the other person has that experience is high. I really have a hard time sometimes expressing what I think. I feel like I might be judged by other people. Do you ever have that experience? I have a hard time sometimes getting what I want. I'm afraid to ask for what I want because I think I won't get it, and I think people will laugh at me for wanting it. Do you ever feel like that? Turning it into a conversation where we're looking for common ground can be a way to test the waters, to find out how easy it might be to express yourself more freely and to be more of who you are. So once you try that tool and start developing a little more comfort with expressing who you really are, then you take the big leap into the faith playground. Because in the faith playground, expressing who you are is expressing with all of the brakes off, all the reins let go, all of the things that are impossible, completely fantastical. Not just hard to imagine, but impossible to imagine that something like that could be true. That's the real playground for the success strategy of faith. And so in order to go there, you have to build that baseline of safety for yourself. just expressing sort of the normal things that you want and think and feel before you say, you know what is really important to me is to do something about cleaning up this planet. Maybe that's not yours. That's not mine. Mine is I'm going to end child abuse in America. That's a pretty grandiose big dream for me to have at my age. And I may do what I do as my effort to end child abuse in America all the way till the day I die, and child abuse might still be happening. That's why it's a big dream, because it can take longer than a lifetime to create. So before you get to the place where you're really playing on that playground of fantasy, where you're bringing the joy of really open-ended dreaming into your adult life, it starts with making sure you feel safe expressing who you are. And that takes you back to the success strategy of independence. So I encourage you to come check out my website, lcarolscott.com, and come to one of my Sunday salons. The second Sunday of every month at 12 p.m. Pacific time, 90 minutes of small group conversation that is inclusive and transformative, called the Sunday Salon, is yours free of charge. Come and talk about these concepts or others from the success strategies. And until then, let's just all get out there and be more sassy, okay?